What's up, and welcome back to Are We Clear Yet? Season 2, Episode 2. And today we'll be talking about dating, communication. You'll see. Check it out. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Are We Clear Yet? This is Season 2, Episode 2. Welcome into the room. I got my boys Al and Dub in the room. Al, how you feeling today, man?
Feeling super good, man. I got a huge pen and just got to get signed in on some documents.
Understood. Dub?
Yeah. I also have a huge pen. I should have worn my shirt. You know, huge pens are good, especially if you know how to write with them. But I'm feeling pretty good. Go Knicks.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's something definitely wrong with your ball cap. I don't really understand what's going on there. It's not. I don't see a flaming basketball going into a hoop. Why is that?
You know what? I will say this. Yes, there is something definitely wrong with this hat. Is because this is the only of my favorite teams that I follow that I have not witnessed a championship personally. So that's what's wrong. But it's coming. It's coming. And
Brunson and them boys gonna get it for you, huh?
Listen, I have faith. I have faith. We will get it done at some point.
Nah.
I won't bust your bubble, brother. I won't bust your bubble, but all right, cool.
Yeah.
Get it?
Ian, how you feeling, man? How you feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great. You know, we're still in Black History Month. You know, I'm blackety black 365 throughout the year. Is that Black Panther himself?
And yes, this is Mr. Chadwick. Rest in peace, brother.
That's a beautiful moment in Black history.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
You know,
yeah.
Mr. Black Panther, Mr. James Brown, Mr. Jackie Robinson. I mean, he had some bangers to him.
Oh yeah.
So we love
dearly missed.
Yeah, we love Chad. He is Black history personified.
Yeah.
But no, I'm doing well. It's, you know, blackety black 365. You know, a little extra emphasis on in this month where we got 28 days. Hopefully, you know, Black History Month will continue for the rest of the administration. It's a weird time we're living in.
Okay.
So,
amen.
What are we talking about today, Dub? I mean, it might be a little touchy, but what are we getting into today?
We're getting into being out and enjoying and having a good time. And then there's a time where you have to stretch and reach into the back pocket.
Money. Al, we talking about money?
Money. Are we talking about money? We're really going to talk about money?
And who should be spending the money?
So it seems today, man, that there is a misnomer or misconception that the men are just holistically responsible for every aspect of an outing. I have some problems with that.
Oh.
Let's get into this clip here and talk about it on the other side.
All right, so let me get this straight. You invited me out to come to eat. And that was not even my idea. That was your idea, right?
Okay, and the problem is?
And I'm offering to pay half, but you want me to pay the whole thing?
I'm the woman. I shouldn't have to pay anything. Yeah, I invited you out because I wanted to go out. That doesn't mean I have to pay.
No, this was your idea. Actually, I don't even have to be a gentleman to pay half of it.
Because you're going to pay it all.
But this was your idea to come out. You're the one that invited me out.
And you're the man, so you have to pay the bill.
Says who?
Oh my apple pie, someone's even saying. You know.
Pretentious. Would that be categorized here? Like she just had this expectation that for whatever reason he was responsible for her.
You know, I have a lot of thoughts about this, and whether it was staged or not staged. I think at the nucleus and the spine of the fact pattern is actually a real thing. I've actually heard stories from my friends about similar situations, and I'd be like, "Wait, what?" And you could kind of divvy this up into: Are we choosing well? Are we selecting well? Are we aligning ourselves up with the people that we should be aligning ourselves with, thus such that these events don't even happen? You know, there's obviously some gender roles type things going on in there, which for many years now, a rule that I've had is I am not going anywhere with anyone without knowing that I could afford to go there. I do not care whose idea it is, because unfortunately, there is, with whatever number of you want to attribute it to it, there is a percentage chance of some weirdness happening where, I thought this happening in there. And I want no parts of it. No parts. So I have to prepare myself accordingly so I could protect me. Because at the end of the day, if this happens and I ain't got it, that is a very big problem. It's a very big problem, especially depending on what got ordered. So there ain't no me leaving something at home. Oh, I don't need this tonight. No. I got to protect myself at all times. It's like you in a boxing ring. Protect yourself at all times, young man.
Though I see you, man. I see you inching, but let me jump in here real quick. So here's my problem, man. My problem is the level of expectation that you have, where you're gonna demand that it's you. Like, you need to pay. Like, yeah, you can do my nails, get my dress, before you could take me out. I'm like, bitch, you can stay home. Because at the end of the day, so and let me speak about me. I mean, I take you out, I'm probably going to be paying for it, right? But I'm also not going to be with you, as you said, Dino, and you're watching. I'm watching you order the porterhouse. I'm watching you order the lobster appetizers. I'm watching you order 15 desserts, and then I'm gonna say, hey, wait a minute, like, how are we doing this? No, I think if I have it in my mind that this is what we're doing, again, yeah, I'm gonna make sure I can handle what we're about to be doing. But I'm also gonna probably monitor that you're not ordering 6 entrees. Because that's a problem. But I think what irks me isn't so much that, you're going to order 6 entrees. It's the fact that you just have this pretentious expectation that somehow the man is responsible. And why is he responsible? Because you determined it to be so.
Dub, jump in.
Well, I mean, I'll go a little bit against the grain on this one. Maybe. I listen. I'm old school. I consider myself old school, and believe it or not, in 2025, I actually still believe in chivalry. And even though it's pretty much on life support or dead, one of the two. I've heard people say chivalry is dead and feminism killed it. Just as a side note, I once had a date tell me that chivalry is a form of patriarchy. And she went to ask, why am I opening doors for her, corridors? This is a 100% true story. But moving on, I have no problems paying for dates. I feel like men should pay for most, if not all, of the dates. 100%. That's just how I feel about it. Now, the problem that I had with her, which, by the way, you mentioned stage, Dean. I 100% believe this is staged. Like most of the videos we see now, they're staged. If they're not staged, it's AI. But point still taken, because these are, real life scenarios. Anytime I've ever been invited out by a woman, she has either offered to pay or has paid. And what I would hear from them is, no, I invited you out. I'm taking care of this because guess what? I'm always reaching for my wallet. And they have stopped me because they were the ones that invited me out with them. And they paid.
Boy,
Okay.
So the problem that I have with this,
I love that too.
Yeah. The problem I have with this one is her saying, I'm the woman. I shouldn't have to. That's the I shouldn't have to. So to her, the fact that she was fortunate enough to be born with a vagina means that she never pays for a date. I'm a woman. I should not have to pay. And he even offered to pay half, which, anyways, I don't know. To me, that it's the entitlement factor of it. I think that I have the problem with, but all in all, I don't see why men should not be paying for the dates.
Yeah, it's. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Al.
No, I was gonna say real quick, just to piggyback on that. Listen, all right. So yeah, I said something real brash, real open up front, but obviously, when we take a woman out, when we go out, chances are, even if she offers to pay, we're gonna say, hey, put that back. We're taking care of it. Again, though, for me, and whether staged or not staged, it's a real life thing. I've seen it out there. I've seen women have this expectation that they can do whatever they want. Somehow the vagina is a commodity. Somehow, you ain't going to get this unless you do this. And it becomes this tit for tat. Let's negotiate this thing around. I don't think I've ever been out on a date where I don't feel that I'm responsible for it. I just don't like the attitude. And you're going to come at me with that attitude. No, I'm going to get up. I'm going to pay for mine. I'm going to leave you sitting there and you're going to sulk about it and do what you do and make as many phone calls as you need to make and as many Facebook posts as you need to make. But I'm gone because I don't think whether it's 2025, 1995, 1975, I don't care. I think that you cannot come into that with that expectation. And then on top of that, you're going to put that attitude. Nah, you finna walk.
Yeah, no, it's hard to listen to, staged or not staged, and I love the opportunity to sit down and have a great dinner with someone, paying for it, paying for the drinks, maybe getting some dessert or something, some ice cream afterward. I got it. Obviously, goes without saying. But those rare instances when and I'm not trying to insert this into the fact pattern, but the rare instances that are lovely when she's like, hey, let's go out. We should go out and do this. Or, those buzzwords might be my treat or on me or something like that. I still obviously come prepared to pay for the whole thing because honestly, sometimes that's said and it's not always done. But when it is kind of initiated under that premise of, hey, something to the effect of let me take you out, I'm looking at that as a gift to me. You're deciding from the front end, you're having a very clear communication to me that you would like to do this very specific thing for me. And I don't look for it. I don't ask for it. But when it does happen, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm still going to be fully prepared. And that thing ain't going to be sitting on the table all day because that's kind of weird. But I'll accept, all good. And we'll go from there. And I'll be honest with you. I will probably, you got to mention like, hey, we're going to have to figure this out. I'm going to probably just go ahead and pay for it and just never talk to you again. if you talk to me like that, I'm going to pay the bill.
Oh, man.
I'm going to take you home and we're not talking anymore. Because if the communication is so off that you've led me to believe that you're doing something for me and you're giving me a gift, which is lovely. And then at the end of it, that's the type of exchange we're going to have. Nah, I don't need to be around this. I don't want to be on the news. I don't want anyone to record me saying something crazy because y'all know me. I'm like real here all the time. Once that thing shift, I got to go. Look, I want my peace. I want my law license. I don't want any problems with anybody. So I'm just not going to talk with you anymore, because that's crazy work for you to, number one, we're out on certain, on a certain premise. And number two, saying stuff like that. Completely unnecessary. How do we get here? It's supposed to be nice. It was a nice evening.
I don't know. You gotta be real careful with not just you, myself, and also Al here. We three have to be very careful what we say here, because it's very easy to call us broke Negroes, depending on what we say here, or sassy Negroes. Never talking to her again because she took you out and there was no clear communication and you had to pay for something. That's real sassy, Dean. Why are you so sassy, bro?
I'm gonna tell you what I'm excited about, man, is that I'm a little bit past your mid-40s, right? And I have never been one to care about another human's opinion, especially when it comes to something as asinine as this. Again, I don't think the argument isn't whether or not any of us in this pod thinks that we should or should not be chivalrous to a woman in 2025. I think we have the upbringing that dictates this is what we're going to do. I think I have a problem when someone speaks to me like a 2-year-old and says, this is what you should do because I said you should do it. And I just feel like, nah, especially I get the feeling that she didn't just have one meal, right? So now you're going to come with the expectation and then you're going to just like inflate the tab just because in your mind, he's responsible. So I'm going to do a buffet at a classy restaurant. I just want to have everything on the menu. So you now have to pay for it. Dean, you're good, bro. I would have put her in an Uber. Like, I'm not driving. I don't even want to talk to you in the car. I'm not taking you home. You can take a bus, take an Uber, and we'll probably pay for it just so we can get out of there and not have controversy, like you said. But I feel like there's a sense of entitlement that is prevalent, man, over the last couple of years. And there's no communication. It's just, I come in, I've seen this on somebody else's Instagram, and this is what I want. And this is what you're going to do. When did we get there?
First of all, a better question is, damn, Al, you put on the bus, the 83 or the 91 or the 27?
You might get the 17.
Those some strong routes, though. Those some strong routes. That'll get you from point A to point B.
Listen, yeah.
Hey, shout out American High, boy. Hey, we used to catch the 83 or the 91 to school, boy.
There you go. Put her on the breeze, man. Put her on the breeze.
You mentioned, her running up the bill. There's my dog Tupac, the greatest rapper to ever live. The greatest rapper alive right now is Nas. We'll get into that later in another pod. But the greatest rapper to ever live is Pac. And in one of his albums, track 3, I believe, Until the End of Time, disc 2, he says, "You were smiling until the bill missed me." It's a song called A Negro's Nature. I have to clean that up. Featuring Little Mo. Look it up. Verse 1, "You were smiling till the bill missed me." Because, I mean, listen, going back to what you're saying, sometimes they'll order up, right? They'll order up because they know they're being taken care of, right? And so it's almost like, yeah, you have to be careful. I like the partnerships where I pay one date and the next one she pays it. And then I pay the next one. And then she pays the next one. There are a host of women who do things that way. Or if the man is always paying, they're always taking care of the tip. And so why is that so difficult? Why, I know I have an idea why that might be difficult because, there's a lot of dudes out there that have a lot more money than they do sense, or they just have that provider in them. And so it's just going to always be them and they're going to take care of everything. More power to them, but other people believe in that partnership type thing versus that route. So it's about talking. It's about that communication. It's about knowing who you're dealing with.
Knowing who you're dealing with, because again, we're putting, some additional facts here and there to this hypothetical, but before these two people go out, they know each other at least a little bit, more than likely. This is unlikely to happen on the first joint. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. And so the idea of someone doing this, when you know them a bit, you know their temperament, you have a rhythm, you've been seeing that person, doing that and talking to them in that way is crazy work, because it ultimately means I can do what I want. I don't really respect you. Your expectations don't matter, so on and so forth. It's a complete mess, and it's not that far-fetched, because unfortunately, I was just talking to someone when I was on vacation not too long ago. People kind of come in with said and unsaid expectations, and some of those unsaid expectations are just quacky. They're very strange. And even though they're very strange, they will still be enforced. They'll at least be attempted to be enforced. Which, you know what? Certain guys or women, depending on however angle you look at, they won't care. But let's just take it from the guys. Some guys, like you just said, Dub, they will not care. And you know what? It's a non-issue. It's nothing. But I find it very hard to believe, especially based off how someone's going to react. And you know them a little bit. I find it hard to believe that someone's going to conduct themselves in that way and not expect that person to react that way. It's complete bonkers.
Absolutely. But what gets me, real quick, couple of years ago, or maybe a little over a year ago, there was a list of restaurants that you couldn't take particular women to. So not only do they want to tell you where you can or cannot take them, now you want to tell me where to take you and run it up and then have an attitude that it's my responsibility. Where does the mutuality? I think one of our episodes last year, we talked about the mutuality of the dynamic of that relationship. Where does my needs get met? Where does my mind meet you? Where does our conversation meet? Because if all it is to you is transactional, you think, okay, I owe you dinner, and your payment to me is what? All you can offer me is what? Vagina? Because if that's all you got, it's a little bit more than that out there. That, where's the conversation? Where's the mind? Where's the intimacy? Where it doesn't have to just be that. It just seems to be so transactional, man.
Indeed. The reason here's the problem with that, Al. The problem is because you said what? All you have to offer me is vagina. That's it. A lot of Negros would take that. That's the problem. That's the problem. There are more men than not who will just accept that transaction, and that's all they need. That's it. So it leads them down to a path where, they may feel like, hey, I'm giving up, and then in the night, he should be happy that this is what he's getting for paying for my meal. But when you run up on a dude where that is not difficult for him to get elsewhere, that transaction becomes, it's not as important, or it's not that huge of a deal to, the other guys who that's just something that they have to do. It's like pay to play. It's pay to play. Most transactions, most relationships are transactional. Even listen, business, church, It's all transactional.
Hey, guess
Ooh,
what?
man.
You know, it's not all transactional. It being transactional isn't bad in and of itself. You know, it really depends on what's being exchanged for what, and is what's being exchanged for the other thing are those healthy things or harmful things? I mean, we both deserve more. Men and women deserve more, because no matter how you cut it up, slice it, there is exchange happening. Ideally, there's a conversational exchange, and that leads to other beautiful things. But the case in point is, are the things that we're exchanging, are they healthy things? I would hope, I'm hopeful. I'm a hopeful guy. That what's being offered to me is kindness and grace and laughter and humor and intellect, and I'm providing that as well. Instead of what's being offered to me is entitlement, arrogance, attitude, aggression, pent up frustration that we're not even really talking about. We're going to be exchanging different stuff, inevitably. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we should aspire and desire to have healthy things exchanged, not this nonsense that was going on when he got asked out and presumably to be treated for dinner. He ain't want all that. He ain't want to eat, that ribeye and get a side of some foolishness when the check come. Because that sound like what happened, which is a shame.
So Dean, earlier you said that you would take her home and just never talk to her again. And if you're in that situation, before not talking to her again, would you have one more final transaction?
Hey, you know what? It's possible, but let me tell you what. Let me tell you what. That type of poor communication is such a turnoff. So look, there's beautiful women everywhere, lovely women everywhere. I'm not gonna be really pressed, you know what I'm saying, for that transaction. Just don't put your hand on my leg. Don't touch me afterward, okay? Just leave me alone. Let me take you home. Just leave me alone, okay? But if you start rubbing on my neck and I'm sorry, and then, you know what? Back there, I was a little, I don't know. I'm a man. Give me a break. But ideally, yeah, yes, we are weak. But ideally, like, what the heck is going on at dinner? Why are we having that type of exchange? That doesn't line up with, the foundation that ideally we're building. You know what I'm saying? So like, where exactly are we? Is this like date 5? Is this date 20? How much talks of substance have we actually had? Because there's in no way, after coming away from us speaking on any regular basis, that you're going to believe that having that type of tone, or me having that tone towards you, is acceptable or a good idea. There's no way either of us are going to come away with that. So with that foundation being there, and that type of thing happening where the communication is so bad, where I believe that I was being treated, which it's not a bad thing, ladies, if you just want to, obviously it might depend on where you are, but if you do want to pay for a dinner, I'm not saying it's got to be like the 5-star chop house, but if you just decided to pay for dinner and y'all go, have some drinks, whatever, that's okay. I don't think that makes you any less of a woman. I don't think that makes him any less of a man if that happens. But, part of this whole exchange, it's not just the monetary part. It's more about the communication. It just shouldn't get there. And so when I say, like, I'm not trying to deal with you after that, I'm really not trying to deal with you after that, because there's just no way. And I know I hate using absolutes. There's just no way we're going to have any real conversations, and then get to that happening, and then it'd just be cool afterward.
I
Cool
believe it.
how?
I
Cool.
believe
Cool.
because at that point she probably exposed a character flaw that you did not know was there. And so after that gets exposed, now you have to make a decision on if this is something that you can deal with long term or moving forward.
Yeah.
And so, bring it back to you, Al. So in that situation, right, he was saying he paid half, and clearly she was not willing to or prepared or both to not pay her half. So
Are you going to stand on it that bad? You're going to stand on this that bad to where half is like, no? Just get it done and go home. Like, you're just going to stand on business, whatever. You're going to stand on it that hard to where half is unreasonable? And y'all just go talk about it and sort it? No, you're just going to stand on it? That's crazy work, bro.
What if she starts walking out, Al? She starts walking out and she's threatening to not pay her half. What you do then? Is that any real concern?
So I love the preface that Dino made earlier. Like, I'm prepared regardless, right? So again, now this just eliminates me having to be responsible to take you home. You can catch your own bus. I'll pay the bill and go, man. Like, listen. So we understand. I don't think the bill paying is so much the issue as much as the attitude is. And you mentioned the character flaw. The problem with these flaws is they are very wavy, man, and it seems like they're motivated by the current trend. So if I see that this girl got this from this duck, then I feel that I'm gonna try to get me something from who I perceive to be a duck, because I believe that my currency will keep him motivated. Again, because in a lot of people's minds, I remember, man, I was in my marriage, man, I had my wife tell me one time, well, you're not getting none tonight. And I thought, that's what you got? Like, you were thinking that was some kind of like, oh, it's a blow? No, because it's more than that. And again, I think there are a lot of women. Listen, so there are a lot of great women out there, man. They've got it all together. They've got vision. They've got, great jobs. They've got the mindset. I'm not putting all women down. I'm saying there's some women, though, who believe that there's a meal ticket out there for them. And there's some women who believe that this particular person is responsible. No, it doesn't go that way. And I think communication, conversation gets us there. But that attitude, nah, man, I'm a pay and go. I'm like Dino, man. I'm not gonna. I don't like limitations and restrictions, so I'm not gonna let you put me in a place where they're gonna tell me when to get up, when to move, when to shower. But I'm just not gonna deal with you.
The problem is, it does go that way. That's the thing. So we are the victims of the ducks out there. You mentioned the ducks. That's the problem, man. It's too many ducks. It's too many ducks. And so when they run up on men who aren't ducks, it's like, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with these non-ducks?
The ducks should want more. And it's not about whether you have it or not. It's about a standard. You know what I'm saying? Standards do matter. So whether you got it real great or you're just an average person, you should desire more. If someone says, hey, let me do this thing for you, and you go in with that expectation, and then it gets switched on you, which isn't the end of the world. But if it gets switched on you in that kind of manner, that's not a good look, fam. It should be two adults. Y'all should be able to, in that moment, be like, you know what? I should have put it this way. I probably should have said it like this, so you wouldn't have gotten the wrong impression. Cool, but let's desire more. Let's expect more. Both sides.
Right.
If I'm coming in a non-correct way, hold me accountable. I am not talking to people in a certain way. I walk with too much love. I love everybody. Love. And so for us to reach that intersection to where, I'm being told what I'm going to do and what they're not going to do, and that type of tone, that means I'm in Hawaii and they're in China, or whatever, as far as the East is from the West. I'm not a geography major. You know what I'm saying.
Dean, earlier you mentioned that you're a hopeful guy. You are extremely hopeful if you think ducks have standards. That's why they're a duck, man, because they don't have no damn standards, bro.
You got me. You got me.
That's what makes them a duck. That's what makes them a duck. They don't have no standards. They don't have no self-respect. They don't respect themselves. They don't have any self-esteem. All they got is the money. And they're a duck. They get taken advantage of. And so let me tell you something. When a man feels like he has no other options or he's not able to get anybody else, he's going to sit up there and put up with the foolishness because he feel like he can't do better. He feel like he can't go out there and get anything else. So he's going to sit there and put up with the foolishness. That's what makes him a duck. Man, dude, yeah. So ducks don't have standards, bro. I know you're hopeful, but it's not going to happen. But I mean, the premise of what you're saying is correct, but I'm sorry, man. It doesn't apply to ducks. That's what makes them a duck.
I'm curious, man, if we gave some homework on our last pod, man. I'd love to hear from the ladies out there as you're listening, like legit. I mean, how much onus is it on the man to pay? And are you allowed to have that type of an entitlement or expectation that he's just responsible? It doesn't matter what, I can talk to him how I feel. I'd love to hear it from the ladies. I'd love it.
Oh, homework again. So second straight pod, we got a homework assignment. I hope we have some diligent students here.
And the opportunity is there. Comment under the video, comment on in Spotify or wherever you're listening from. We want to hear from you. Thoughts? Let's get some final thoughts out here because we need some direction. What are the final thoughts, guys?
Final thoughts, man. Entitlement. Let's. Entitlement is one of the biggest issues we face in society today. In a host of different areas, it's just the entitlement, man. We have to put a cap on the entitlement. That's how I'm going to sum this up.
I've got another alignment. I think it's important for us as people, men and women, to align yourself with people who have a like mindedness, that see the future the way you kind of see the future and are able to articulate things beyond 3 words. I think when you get into something with someone and you can vibe beyond the transactional aspect of it, that it helps you to determine how these escapades or these opportunities go when you do decide to go out with that person.
Indeed. And I'm a hopeful guy, and I'm just going to leave them with this. Let's aspire for more. Let's aspire for more. Let's desire more. Let's speak to each other in a more respectful way. Let's be nicer. Let's bring it down a minute. Let's communicate a little bit more clearly. Can we do that, y'all? Like us, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Later.